What is going on, everybody? Quancredible here, bringing you the review for chapter 38 of the Four Nights of the Apocalypse. And man, this chapter was actually like the hype reveal at the end obviously has me pumped up, but just the overall chapter itself did a really good job of more or less humanizing Ardberg. Like like obviously he's a Chaos Knight, so he's a bad guy, but he doesn't feel as heartless as like Ironside or like that other guy Talisker. Like he definitely feels more like an actual person, which is really interesting because I didn't expect this route. I kind of just expected just a straight up fight, and then we would just get to move on. But in the beginning of the chapter, when when they're all being turned into babies or whatever, and I found it kind of funny how like it's supposed to take a minute for their mental state to like revert back, and like Annie was kind of like the last one who was like still like kind of aware of things, like kind of still had her maturity intact, while like Percival, it was like as soon as he got turned into a baby he was immediately stupid or just had baby level intelligence. I don't want to call our babies stupid, that's neither here nor there. But Ardbrook having like the seemingly really broken magic, is being called reverse, and he can revert things back to their infant form. As we find out later on in the chapter, it's approximately 1 minute per year. So it's one of those things where it could work on a wide variety or a wide range of people. He just has to survive that long within being within 50 meters of him. So potentially a really broken ability. Obviously, if someone's like way stronger than him, it probably wouldn't work. That's because how most abilities work. But in Seven Deadly Sins, there seems to be a pretty wide range between how weak you are and if your abilities work. So it could work on some of the higher tiers, but most of the higher tiers are typically pretty old. Such like Meliodas being like over 3,000 years old, Bond being potentially hundreds upon hundreds of years old after his time in Purgatory. Like there's just so many characters that this probably would not work on just because they're actually really old. And I believe he has to wait the entire time, because as we've seen, it wasn't like a gradual thing. It was just like bam, they're babies. So he probably can only go straight to infancy and not necessarily like tick back as time goes on, or potentially like overly underage them to make them like de-aged to non-existence. I don't think he can do that either, but still a cool power nonetheless, being able to turn people into babies. But then from here we do get to see like a lot of like baby Percival, and like Percival, like everybody else was crying, but Percival just didn't even cry. He was just really curious with the world. Even when Arberg tried to take the dragon handle sword from him, Percival was just hanging on to it, thought he was like playing with Ardberg and peas in his face.
That's a gross way to live.
Like Percival is just, and Percival's comedy is absolutely golden throughout the series. But it's in this moment where Ardberg begins to choke Percival, and he kind of winces and closes his eyes. And this is when Annie like tries to get his attention by grabbing his cloak. And what I think happens here is kind of like, I believe Annie always had her ability to sense intentions and sense like the true essence of what people feel. So I feel like she was really sensing a lot of that darkness deep within Ardberg, and it made her really sad. And then in turn, Ardberg seeing her really sad, and then that reminded him of his daughter that he lost during the last Holy War. And the stuff with Ardberg and his daughter was like high-key super sad stuff. Like that kind of tore me up a little bit. Like not like, oh my gosh, Ardberg saddest character ever, but it was sad though to see like him reminiscing about his daughter, and then remembering how she died, and she literally crumpled to dust in his arms. Like it doesn't get too much sadder than that. I know I'm kind of smiling right now, but it's that nervous thing when something bad happens and then you laugh. It's not funny, but it's just it's so sad that I'm starting to chuckle a little bit about it. But from here, to kind of reinforce what I was saying with Annie probably can still sense it, is she tries to wipe his eyes, and you could attribute this to babies being naturally like more emotionally intelligent than adults to a degree. Like, you know how sometimes babies or children just know how you feel. You could attribute it to that, but I think it's Annie's powers. But anyway, Percival does still like kind of tick away at like Ardberg's shoes, and like he's still trying to like protect Annie. So Percival does still have his sense of duty. He's always had it. I like this because it shows that Percival's kind of always been him. Whereas like it definitely sets him apart. Like it really shows that he's different. I mean, obviously we know Percival's different, but it really like it shows he is different. And then from here, this is when the village elder comes back into play, and he does say what what we probably all were thinking, that Ardberg doesn't necessarily have it in him to kill children. Also saying that Ardbert probably decided to live all the way out here to kind of heal his like heart, you know, kind of like get over everything that he had lost, and also for the rumors of hope. Apparently, this place, the Crystal Grotto over here, is apparently very similar to the city of the Dead. I'm not for sure if you guys remember it from the original Seven Deadly Sins, but there was the city of the Dead where you could visit there, and you may or may not get a chance to see like visions of like your past loved ones. I remember Bond and King were able to see Elaine here back in like the original Seven Deadly Sins. So that's kind of cool to see that they are kind of revisiting some of the old plot points from the old series and seeing that being done here in this Crystal Grotto. But of course, to no one's surprise, Ardbert does deny this. He does claim that his mission is to just eliminate the demons that were hiding out here. I have no doubt that like Arthur probably sent him here. Like in addition to him being a Chaos Knight, Arthur probably knew he wasn't really much of a frontlines fighter, which he kind of isn't, and sent him to this kind of more easier mission to say. So Arthur probably had an idea, because Arthur's not a completely evil guy, but he does have those evil tendencies. So this is probably like a win-win situation for all of the parties involved. But the Elder does say if you call off or undo the spell on these guys, that will allow you to meet with your daughter. And this is when we do get to find out that Ardberg's trying to put it together on why this guy hasn't turned into a child yet. And then he reveals that you need well over 3,000 minutes to turn me back into a child, which is over 3 days, which is like a really long time. He is right. I did the math because I was very curious. But and this is when Ardberg says, "What are you?" And then the Elder says he's going to show you, and he does this very iconic Gother pose, and it has to be Gother. Obviously, this is Gother. The Goat Sin has returned into the story. Now, it's kind of interesting because there's a lot of different things to take away from Gother being here in the story right now. I definitely do believe that this 100% is Gother, because if you remember, Gother can slightly alter his appearance like back when he was Alan. So I do believe this is probably along the lines of his just basic transformation, which is why he's like super huge and jacked and like has super long hair and all of that. That could be one thing, or another thing is he could be inside of something else. Like remember, his armor was huge and he was just inside of it. So maybe this Elder is just kind of like another armor or another skin. Like I kind of think between transformation and between having it be a armor, this whole thing could easily be explained. It is kind of interesting that he chose to be out here. I think one of the biggest things that we could get from Gother being here in the story right now is that Gother could show Percival or show Annie or just show the entire main group what happened in the past 16 years to kind of make everything as bad as it is, which could show us, the reader, what happened in these past 16 years so we can finally understand truly why Arthur has turned evil. I did make my own speculation about it. I don't know if you guys have seen it. You should check it out if you haven't, but to see what actually happened would obviously be really ideal. Another thing that makes a lot of sense with this being Gother is he put Sin to sleep, and as we know, Gother does have the ability to knock people out, even more so if they're not like ready for it. Like I believe it was called Blackout or something like that. Like he has the one that's able to knock out like weaker people just in a radius, but he also has that like other ability that can knock out stronger people. So it makes perfect sense why he was able to knock out Sin. It's in the realm of Gother's abilities. Like we could have, I don't know if anybody was calling it back then, but if somebody did, they're like,
this big brain time.
Big brain. Like it like they legit have a huge brain. But yes, for next chapter, I 100% think that Ardberg is going to undo his spell, just so he can see his daughter. His daughter seems to be the most important thing to him. And I kind of think within Ardberg doing so, I think if he betrays Arthur, something is going to happen to him, because that is what that would be. It would be a direct betrayal of Arthur. I feel like Arthur might have modified his knights to where if they go against him, something bad will like happen to them. That's kind of what I think is going to happen to Ardberg in next chapter, which is definitely sad, because I don't see them fighting. Like I really don't see them, because obviously they would just kick Ardberg's butt once they turn back to normal, and I don't think Ardberg is just going to want to leave just to leave. So they might actually just have, like, that might actually happen where he betrays Arthur and something bad happens, or since this is Gother, he could probably rewrite his memories to make him just go do something else, or make him forget, or make him live just a totally happy life. And like Gother has a lot of ways to mess with people's memories to where they can probably live however they want to live after that. So I mean, there's definitely a lot of different ways. There's definitely a lot of ways it could go on that end. I highly doubt we'll get Gother showing them the true past next chapter. That might be like a next chapter kind of thing if it does happen. But I really do hope we get to see it. But from there, I do think this chapter was pretty good. Overall, I'd probably give it like a 7.5, maybe even a solid 8 just off of the Gother reveal in the end. I can't wait to see him like de-transform or go back to his normal state, because I am kind of curious to know if he just looks like vastly different than how he used to, or is he just going to maintain the same appearance. I guess he probably would just look the exact same since he's looked the same for that long. I doubt 16 more years would really change him that much. But I'm definitely ready to see like the more old Gother design. But let me know how you guys felt about the chapter down below. You guys hype about Gother? Do you guys potentially think it's somebody different? I would love to know if there's somebody who's like, nah, this definitely isn't Gother. Because like I recall Nakaba saying that he wanted to show one of the members of the Seven Deadly Sins soon. I can't, like, if I can find it, I'll put it up, but if not, I guess you're just not going to see it. But I definitely do remember reading that. So it definitely has to be. Aside from that, like I said, chapter was dope. Make sure you guys like the video as well as subscribe to the channel for more content. There's a couple Fortnite apocalypse theories coming up for you guys, so be on the lookout for those. Aside from that, you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you all in my next video.